This is Daniel Bryan, and you're listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
This is Bret the Hitman Hart, and you're listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
This is Christopher Daniels, and the gospel according to the fallen angel says that you are listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
Yeah, welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon, he is Johnny North. WrestlingUncensored.net is our website here on TSN 690 every Saturday night, talking professional wrestling here with you. YouTube.com/ringsidereport.net, YouTube.com/ringsidereport. DOTNET is our YouTube channel, home of the Dave and Johnny Uncensored live show that airs every Friday afternoon that you can check out on our YouTube channel. Dave and Johnny Uncensored Live. Johnny North and I talk not only a little bit of WWE, a little bit that we can't fit on Wrestling Uncensored, this hour time slot here on TSN 690, but we also talk about the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Impact Wrestling had a big pay-per-view, Slammiversary this past weekend, and various other things that are going on TV, not just in the wrestling world, but, you know, wherever else. Movies, television, 90 Day Fiancé. We got it all covered for you on Dave and Johnny Uncensored, which is a podcast downloadable at WrestlingUncensored.net, and also a live YouTube show that you can watch on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net.
Roughly almost an hour long every week.
Yeah. We do roughly an hour every Friday afternoon, and we talk everything. Pro wrestling, movies, television, current events, and so on, right? Other things. Johnny sang this week on the show. So if you want to hear Johnny doing karaoke, which was, honestly, I think it's something best viewed because my reaction was sincere.
You walked off.
I had to walk away because it was just too much. Just to see Johnny sing, too, just watching Johnny sing karaoke was quite an experience for me and for all the live viewers that we had yesterday afternoon. So if you want to check that out, do go to our YouTube page and watch Dave and Johnny Uncensored, or the final episode of, I guess, the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show, which has now been rebranded Dave and Johnny Uncensored Live. And, yeah, Johnny singing was quite something. So you got to hear it. You got to see it. It's quite a show we have going on our YouTube channel.
It's fun. It's fun, too, because people get to tell us their comments on Raw and Smackdown during that show. And it's fun to find out what they think.
That's it. We get a little bit of feedback, some last-minute feedback from everybody before Wrestling Uncensored, so we can kind of give a more full perspective on the WWE and what's going on. It's not just our perspective, but it's also the perspective of, you know, the Wrestling Uncensored universe, which we appreciate and respect very much, right?
And I think people really want to talk about the women's pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that's top on our agenda here tonight. We have a lot to talk about. WWE Summerslam is like 3 weeks away now. Only 3 episodes of Raw and Smackdown.
Goes quick.
Before WWE Summerslam, it'll take place in Brooklyn, New York on August 19th at the Barclays Arena. And we have many, many matches announced this week. A lot of big-time matches were made official this week for SummerSlam. This card really coming together. It will be Roman Reigns challenging Brock Lesnar once again for the WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns beating Bobby Lashley in a number 1 contenders match on Raw this week to earn that spot. And a lot of people are feeling all types of ways about that match, so we're going to get to that on the show. We'll also get to Brock Lesnar supposedly appearing on Raw coming up on Monday night. Kevin Owens will take on Braun Strowman with Braun's Money in the Bank briefcase on the line. That match made official for SummerSlam this week on Raw. Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler in a rematch for the Intercontinental title. Also going down at SummerSlam, Becky Lynch beat Carmella on SmackDown in a non-title match. She will now face Carmella for the SmackDown Women's title at SummerSlam. And that's all that we have so far as the announced matches. Oh, I guess, no, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, too, right? We were speculating who would face AJ for the title at SummerSlam. We talked about it last week. Our conclusion was Samoa Joe. Our conclusion was correct, as Samoa Joe named number one contender. He signs that contract this week, attacking AJ Styles on SmackDown. And we're on the road to Joe versus AJ for the WWE title at SummerSlam. Add to Alexa Bliss defending her Raw Women's title against Ronda Rousey. And 7 matches so far official for SummerSlam, the second biggest show of the year for the WWE next to WrestleMania.
Well, this is only a taste because SummerSlam's 7 hours. So we're going to have 7 more matches more than likely announced before we even get to SummerSlam.
Wow. And I guess we'll speculate on what those other matches could be. We do know that it'll be The Bar versus the Usos coming up on SmackDown. And then the winner of that match will take on the New Day, because the New Day won their match in this mini tournament that they're doing. New Day beating Sanity this week on SmackDown. So the New Day will take on the winner of The Bar, who just returned, and the Usos. And the winner of that match will take on the Bludgeon Brothers for the SmackDown tag team titles at SummerSlam. So there's another match you can add. The Bludgeon Brothers defending against either the New Day, the Usos, or The Bar.
I like the New Day to face the Bludgeon Brothers. It feels like they haven't been doing much lately in the tag division. They put over a bunch of new tag teams like Sanity. And this is kind of like the reward. Like they come back in the end at the big pay-per-view and get the big match. They haven't really gotten the big match yet against the Bludgeon Brothers. So this is finally their time. I wouldn't be surprised if we see new tag champs.
They probably should be.
It's the New Day. You can always put them on them.
That's it. They're the best thing going still in the tag division.
But I expect the Bar to beat the Usos, though.
The Bar just returned. Shouldn't they be the ones taking on the Bludgeon Brothers at SummerSlam?
I think they'll get the win, the first win back.
They'll beat the Usos, but they won't beat the New Day.
That's what I think.
And if you think about it, the Bludgeon Brothers against who? Like, what's the biggest match they could possibly do for SummerSlam? It's the New Day. Who's the biggest tag team on SmackDown? It's the New Day. So if you're doing a big match for SummerSlam, you want the top team to face off against the Bludgeon Brothers. There's nothing really better than the New Day. Well, I agree. It makes sense.
You could do the Usos. They are a great tag team.
But they're not as big and popular as New Day.
And we've been there, done that, too, as well. We've seen it.
With the Bludgeons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. Give the New Day their opportunity now.
How about this women's Evolution pay-per-view? WWE Evolution pay-per-view set for October in Long Island. We had a big announcement teased for Raw with Stephanie McMahon. All the WWE superstars are on the stage at the start of Raw. Vince McMahon is in the ring as we debut Monday Night Raw on Monday night. I mean, this was, it felt epic,
cool.
All the people are there. Vince McMahon is in the ring. The chairman, the man. And then he introduces Triple H and Stephanie, and it kind of goes downhill from there because,
well, it's the typical Triple H Stephanie.
Yeah, it was like typical kind of Triple H Stephanie. We're so proud of you. We're so happy. We love all you superstars. Very babyface promo from, Stephanie, who plays a heel most of the time, except, when it's convenient for her not to. It's kind of odd. But Stephanie always puts herself in those spots. I also found it odd that Triple H came out to Stephanie's music. Like, was that weird? Like, Vince McMahon, he's like in the ring. He's like, oh, welcome, Triple H and Stephanie. And then they come out to Stephanie's music. You're not enough for me. Wait, that's not her song.
That's the old school, I think.
Was it?
That's not even her. That's Michelle McCool, even.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking Michelle McCool. It the queen down, and the king bow down. Da 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 da. Right?
I think my singing has inspired you. It seems.
Well, I'm trying to get Stephanie's tune in my. I'm trying to figure out what it is. That's the one, right?
I
da na 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 na. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I think you're right, and I think They came out to her music.
Yeah, it was
because
weird.
she had the announcement. That was the huge thing, that she was going to make the announcement.
So what's Triple H doing there?
He's there because everyone else was there.
Everybody else is here. Vince is here. Stephanie's here. I want to be there too. I want to tell them how proud I am. I'm so proud of all the women.
Did you see when they were...
That hurts me. That was hard to do.
It's Triple H. Did you see when they were leaving, when Triple H let the rope down for Stephanie? He also let the rope down for Vince, and Vince kicked him.
Did he?
For doing on TV too. Like when the commentators are talking, you can see it clear as day.
Vince kicks him?
Vince kicks him.
Gotta love Vince McMahon.
No suspension for that, by the way. No Titus.
Vince can do what he wants. It's his company, damn it.
That's it.
He's the boss. So they announced the WWE Evolution pay-per-view. The way they did it, a lot of people have a problem with. People don't like that the McMahons put themselves front and center, and they don't like that Stephanie's always the one doing this stuff. She's the one that announces the Women's Royal Rumble. She's the one that announces the Women's Money in the Bank. She's always the one front and center to say, it's not divas anymore, you're superstars, It's always Stephanie up front doing that stuff. But my counter to that is, who would you prefer?
I think other people's counter would be someone like Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey, who's been in the business for a minute? She's the one that should be making these big announcements? Stephanie McMahon's been in the wrestling business her entire life. She's born into it. She has no choice. She's a McMahon. She's going to run the company for the next, for the future. So, as much as people hate on Stephanie and they think, she puts herself out there too much, she's out there. It's too late. I just have a problem with her being a total babyface in these moments, and then other moments where she's expected to be this evil heel.
Well, the thing is, Stephanie can carry a promo and say this. Ronda, it's hit and miss, I think.
Yeah, a lot of them would be hit and miss. Stephanie is guaranteed every time she goes out there, she will deliver her lines perfectly. And that's what you want.
But I still have
she's
problems.
a good representative of the company.
I still have other problems, though.
What's your problem?
You call it evolution? When I think evolution, there you go.
That's right. We're going to have an all-women's pay-per-view, and we're going to name it after the greatest group of superstars ever assembled, none of which were women. It was me, and Randy, and Batista, and nature.
Yeah, those guys, apparently there's some stories with them and women. Not good stories when you think about it.
Well, just look at their Titantron video.
That too.
Watch the Evolution Titantron video. Did it seem like they were being very nice with women there? Aren't they in a club with these women, and it seems sleazy. Ric Flair's there, Yeah, it's funny they called it Evolution.
That's one.
Evolution.
Second, this isn't the first ever all-women's pay-per-view.
Evolution is a mystery.
TNA did it. I know you weren't watching, but TNA did this already.
An all-women's pay-per-view?
Yes.
Did anybody watch it?
I'm sure some people did.
People are mad that it's another pay-per-view. There are two sides to this. People are mad that it's an all-women's that it's another pay-per-view,
That's a huge problem.
And then people are happy because, it's an all-women's pay-per-view and it's cool.
It's going to be over 4 hours long.
Maybe.
Man. And there's already going to be a big kind of WWE Network special Australia pay-per-view kind of thing anyway. So it means we're getting two pay-per-views again. And that means this is probably going to happen 2 weeks after Hell in a Cell. So we're back to 2 weeks. There's a pay-per-view all the time.
For a period in October. September, October.
It's hard to care. Remember with Saudi Arabia, and then we had Backlash the week afterwards. Backlash was horrible because of that.
Yeah, but we also learned from Saudi Arabia that those pay-per-views that they do, the kind of special one-time only in a foreign country, they don't actually mean anything. They're glorified house shows.
But no, they do mean something because they hype them as they meant something.
Yeah, but when you actually watch the show and then see the results, the only thing that you could take away that made any difference after the greatest Royal Rumble was Titus falling under the ring. That's the only thing anybody remembers from that show. Nothing of consequence actually happened, except for maybe the Brock and Roman match.
The leader of worlds won the tag titles.
Who cares?
Okay.
That pay-per-view meant nothing.
Well, what's going to help the women's pay-per-view is if they have matches you really want to see. They got to give us a big-time match. Big-time matches, actually.
Well, I think this women's pay-per-view is going to be a lot better than you might expect. I think it's going to be a lot like the first women's Royal Rumble match. They're already advertising Lita and Trish Stratus to be wrestling in some capacity at this first ever women's pay-per-view in October. And I think that announcing it now was a smart move because they have a lot of time to build it up. They have a lot of time to get every female wrestler that's ever been near the WWE excited about this thing and wanting to participate, and they have time to line up deals with them so that they can participate. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of people we haven't seen in a while, mixed with NXT people, mixed with the current roster. It's going to be enjoyable. I think it's going to be a lot more fun than the average WWE pay-per-view because WWE is going to actually try very hard to make this thing good. So, as pessimistic as a lot of people may be, I am optimistic about this thing. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be like a special show, and it'll be almost reminiscent of like an ECW one-night stand, where you see people you don't see very often.
That's rough.
Now, will it be, it won't be ECW one-night stand. The first one that they did was one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time, right?
Yeah, it was.
But I'm saying in the same vein where it'll be kind of one night. The matches won't all have to make sense in the grand scheme of the WWE storylines.
Okay.
And you're going to see stars from the past do crazy stuff that you won't expect. I think it's going to be a real interesting show that the WWE is going to put on. And I look at the Women's Rumble that they did this year, the first one, with all sorts of people coming in. It was fantastic. And if they can replicate some of that magic for this Evolution pay-per-view, I think they're going to be doing perfectly fine. I think it's going to be very good.
Well, I heard the rumor that it's going to be Trish Stratus versus Mickie James. I don't know if you've heard that.
That's cool.
I'd love it if they pull off the 4 horsewomen of WWE versus the 4 horsewomen of MMA. If they pull that off, that'd be pretty amazing.
It's possible.
So, yeah, I mean, this could turn out really good, but nothing is set in stone here. So, yes, you have the talent. Can you make it work? You haven't provided this yet.
Well, why not? Well, you have... think about the talent you're going to have on this card. You're going to have Ronda Rousey. You're going to have Asuka. You're going to have Trish Stratus. I could stop right there. That's good. Charlotte Flair's going to be on the show. Who knows who they might get? Lita's going to be on the show. Maybe we'll see Alundra Blaze. Maybe we'll see Michelle McCool. Maybe we'll see Team Laycool reunite. Maybe we'll see... I don't know. I'm trying to come up with stuff.
I like to see the Bellas.
Sunny. Maybe Sunny will be there.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's kind of
maybe
far
Sable will be there.
It's even more far out there, I think. The Bellas make more sense.
The Bellas will definitely be there. I would say that's a guarantee, and that's pretty awesome.
Them against Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, I think, has to happen.
That would be fantastic. And I think tag team championships are in order. I think that you crown the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions at Evolution.
I think this needs to be set with certain rules where if you're going to have tag team titles, they should be on both shows, not separate.
Yeah.
Not a Raw tag team women titles and SmackDown women titles. Like, that's ridiculous. Just women tag titles for every show.
Yeah, I think you have the women's tag team champions defend the titles on Raw and SmackDown. That makes the titles a really big deal because they'd be the only titles defended on both shows.
And if they go down that route, it makes me wonder if they've changed the course of Bayley and Sasha, where it looked like they were breaking up. Now it seems they're a team again after this week.
I think we're already starting to see it. Women gearing up to be tag teams. We're gearing up for a tag team division, and they're just putting the pieces in place right now. You have Liv Morgan and what's her name? Sarah Logan teaming up. You have Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. They never broke up.
Right.
You have the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. You have Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. You have Sasha Banks and Bayley. I mean, look at all these duos of women that we're seeing, these tag teams that we're seeing. 2 women together as a team. I don't know if we've ever had this many 2 women as a team combos ever in the history of the WWE. They're clearly preparing for something, right? I mean, they're making a tag team division. We just don't have titles yet. But, like, if you look at Raw and SmackDown, it seems like it's on its way.
I just find they didn't really capitalize on the momentum of the announcement. Immediately following this announcement, yes, throughout the show they talked about the women's pay-per-view. But the match that you saw right after the announcement was a Raw Tag Team title match. It wasn't a women's match. And you think the crowd would be more into a women's match after that announcement. But no, don't have a women's match. And the main event, not a women's match either. They're not capitalizing.
Well, I don't know. They made the big announcement on the show. I think that's enough. Look at Sasha and Bayley. They beat 2 jobbers in a tag team match. Like, when's the last time you saw 2 female wrestlers wrestle a jobber tag team?
It's been a long time. I can't remember. I think Lay Cool, maybe.
Maybe. But, like, that is a clear indication of a women's tag team division coming. You've seen jobbers in the women's division, but, like, one jobber for Nia Jax to squash.
Right.
You never see, like, here's a women's tag team, Sasha and Bayley, taking on these 2 jobber tag teams, like these 2 jobbers in a team. It's never happened before. When I saw that, I was like, oh, well, how come they didn't just announce the women's tag team titles? Like, it seems quite obvious they're doing that. That, to me, just that match should tell everybody that a women's tag team division is coming, right? Like, that's obvious.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. I just don't know if WWE's ready for it. Because, yeah, okay, you have 2 or 3 teams per show, but look at the men's tag team divisions. SmackDown, yeah, sure, that's strong as hell, but Raw, whoa, awful.
Oh, that's why it would be smart to unify the tag team titles.
Do you think it's going to happen?
Not in the men's side, no. But I think it's possible that we have women's tag team titles that are both on Raw and SmackDown.
We need that. We absolutely need it. If it's separate, this is going to be absolutely awful.
I don't think the divisions are deep enough on both shows to have championships on both shows for tag teams.
Look at TNA. TNA tried this, and it failed too.
Yeah. So, one team, the champion on both shows. I think that makes the most sense. And then it actually works, and it makes it really fun to watch. Not only does it save the concept, it actually makes it very, very good, and a very good concept.
Well, it helps because there's always the one story for the championship, and all the other stories don't really mean much. So when you have tag team titles, it makes the other stories mean something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which there is a need for.
Yeah, I agree.
Mickie James beat Natalya with help from her partner, Alexa Bliss, this week on Raw. So we had 2 women's matches. Was that it?
No, 3, actually.
3, yeah. Ember Moon beating Liv Morgan again. How many times is Ember Moon going to wrestle Liv Morgan on Raw? It seems like every week they wrestle each other.
There's nothing going on for them, so that's it.
So they just do the same match over and over?
Well, Mojo Rawley, like, come on. Every week it's the same stuff, isn't it?
He's changing it up. He beat Tyler Breeze.
Again.
Yeah, that's true. But at least it wasn't No Way Jose.
Oh, I bet you.
Ember Moon's been wrestling Liv Morgan for like the past 6 weeks on Raw, and no one's noticed.
No, they changed it up 1 week. Sarah Logan 1 week.
1 week. But like, how many weeks has it been? Ember Moon's wrestling Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan every single week on Raw. She'll wrestle them again this week.
Oh, yeah. 100%. It shows you how they're not that deep, the divisions, and this is why having more championships, I'm very fearful of this, actually.
But you're saying they're not capitalizing on the announcement. They had 3 women's matches on this show. I think that's pretty decent. It's more than the average.
They spaced them out too much, and they didn't mean that much.
No, they didn't, but that's because Ronda Rousey wasn't on the card.
They hyped that she's coming back next week. That's fun. Great. Cool. So is Brock.
Ronda and Brock on Raw Monday night. Hell yeah.
Can we get a confrontation between the two? I'd love to see that.
I don't really see the point in that.
It's just fun to see stuff like that, stuff you wouldn't expect to see.
Ronda versus Brock for some reason?
Yeah, just confrontations like that. It's
just
fun.
to see them face to face, I think would be fun. Just have them like look at each other. Not like say anything, just like backstage, like, you know, Brock runs into Ronda. Like, Brock and Heyman are walking, and they, like, see Ronda, and Ronda looks at Brock, and they kind of face off. And, you know, Ronda goes, Brock? Brock goes, Ronda? And then that's it. They just walk away. I think that would be good, just for a quick little Raw moment. That's a thing for YouTube. That could go viral. Somebody needs to do that. I'm trying to find out where Raw is coming up on Monday night. WWE will be in Miami, Florida. Ooh, wait a second. Do you smell that?
He's not coming.
You smell that?
He's not coming.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
He's not going to be on Raw.
He's not coming?
I heard he might be at WrestleMania. There's a strong rumor about WrestleMania.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Miami, Florida. The Rock. The People's Champ. He's not going to be on Raw this week?
I don't think so. Raw is jam-packed this week. When you have Brock and Ronda, they're not always on. There's no room for The Rock.
There's always room for the Dwayne. They can always make room for The Rock. They can cut, you know, Liv Morgan and Ember Moon and let The Rock have a promo.
Yeah, but The Rock doesn't have anything new to promote or sell.
Doesn't he have movies all the time? He's always promoting something.
I think Ballers is coming out again soon, the new season. But
SmackDown's in Tampa. Do you think Hulk Hogan will be there? When are they going to bring Terry back on TV?
It's interesting because I don't know if you've read about what Titus O'Neil said about Hogan.
I saw what Kofi wrote about him. Was it Kofi?
There's a lot of people who wrote a lot of things. New Day wrote something about it.
Yeah, I think that was Kofi.
Yeah. And James Ellsworth wrote something about it.
James Ellsworth?
Yeah. He was there at Extreme Rules, right?
Okay.
And some people are saying that's why he got fired because apparently he spilled the beans about what happened.
Really?
Rumors. Who knows? But what Titus said was very interesting because Hogan started off his speech to everybody, his apology, with a joke saying, "Oh, I know this might be recorded, so I have to be careful." And I imagine that joke kind of fell flat, especially for Titus.
Yeah.
He said, like, that turned him off right away.
Yeah.
So I cannot see Hogan in WWE still for a while, I think. I think they'll hold off till Mania. I don't think you need Hogan till then.
Yeah. From what I've heard, Hogan met with the WWE superstars. He tried to apologize and explain himself and be welcomed back. The WWE reinstated him into the Hall of Fame, but there were a number of wrestlers on the roster that were still not too happy with Terry. So maybe he won't be coming back anytime soon.
But one of his main detractors, Mark Henry, has accepted his apology.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like other guys on the roster have, and they mean something too.
Well, that's it. I think Titus even said, like, it's not just, like, people who are black who are still upset with Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I understand that. I just see Hulk Hogan and the WWE as kind of together. You know, I grew up a Hulkamaniac, and I watched the WWE, and he's the guy that brought me into pro wrestling, and it just seems like the WWE without Hulk Hogan doesn't really make sense. Like, with Hogan kind of not allowed at certain functions and big events. When they have these big events and Hogan's not there, it's kind of like, well, like, I get it, but he's missing, you know?
Well, they have SummerSlam access, right? I imagine he's going to be there. He can appear at these events now.
Will he, though? I don't know.
That's a big question. But I don't expect you'll see him on WWE television at least until WrestleMania season. Do you really need Hulk Hogan on television right now? You already have a strong Raw GM, and you have a Constable now on Raw.
Oh, yeah, Constable. When you have Constable Corbin, who needs Hulk Hogan? You're
Exactly.
right, John. Oh, yeah, totally. Totally. Constable Corbin, way better than Hulk Hogan. Way better.
And I think Paige is doing fine by herself on SmackDown. You don't really need someone right now. Maybe later on, but someone like Hogan, I don't think that would fit with Paige. You need someone who would go against Paige, I think. Kind of like what Kurt Angle has going with Constable Corbin.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if Paige needs an opponent. Where's Shane McMahon?
Well-deserved vacation, I think.
He's been gone for so long.
Man, the guy kills himself every year for us.
Yeah, well, Kevin Owens does too, and he's still on the show every single week.
No, he wasn't on last week.
Well, he was on this week.
Okay, not wrestling.
No, which is good. He needs to rest that body. He's got a big run coming up that we're going to talk about when we come back. Kevin Owens has a big match for SummerSlam, and I want to get to it. It is Wrestling Uncensored. We are right here in Montreal, home of Kevin Owens on TSN 690.
Hey, this is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and you are listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
Hey, this is Antonio Cesaro, and you're listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
This is Aaron Schick, and you listen to the Wrestling Invention.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back. It is Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. WrestlingUncensored.net is our website. Go check it out for all the latest Wrestling Uncensored and Ringside Report radio news over at WrestlingUncensored.net and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/RingsideReport.net. Now, Brock Lesnar is supposed to be on Raw this coming Monday night to go face-to-face with his SummerSlam opponent, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns beating Bobby Lashley in the main event of Raw this week. At Extreme Rules 2 weeks ago, it was Lashley hitting the spear for the pinfall victory on Roman. 2 weeks later, it's reversed. Roman wins the match that actually means something, and he earns the shot at Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Now, is there any chance that Paul Heyman says, well, Roman beat Lashley on Raw, but Lashley beat Roman at Extreme Rules. We don't really believe that Roman Reigns deserves a shot at Brock Lesnar because he's not the clear number one contender. And then maybe Kurt Angle can say, well, fine, then you have to wrestle both of them, Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. Is there still a chance going into Raw on Monday night that the match changes and it's going to be a triple threat or four-way or something? Do you have any hope that this match could change, or are we headed towards Roman versus Brock one-on-one? Because for me, it feels like they're probably going to stick with Roman Brock one-on-one at this point.
It's devastating, in my opinion, because this was the only opportunity we were ever going to get to see Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley in the ring.
Yeah, it's a dream match for a lot of us.
And it's never going to happen now, so that really sucks. This is like, instead of getting Brock and AJ, we got Brock and Jinder. But we didn't get that, thankfully. Unfortunately, this didn't work out.
We did
right.
get Brock and AJ at one point. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it worked out right. They switched it.
Yeah.
It worked out right that time. This time, not so much. They flipped it the wrong way this time. Where it looked like we were getting Bobby Lashley. No, we're not getting Bobby Lashley. It's going to be Roman again. It's not something I'm looking forward to. Fine, whatever, if he beats Brock. I think we know exactly how the match is going to go, start to finish practically.
Well, we've seen it so many times already, it's hard to surprise us. It's not like these guys are world-class professional wrestlers, you know? They're not. I mean, they don't really put in that much into their matches. There's not much there.
Well, here's the problem.
I'd rather watch Tama Tonga than Roman Reigns all day, every day.
Okay, you can get into that Twitter beef all you want. That's fine. You can leave that on Twitter. The thing is, Brock has his way of doing things in the match. And Roman's not going to complain. Roman's just going to comply because what's Roman going to do? He's going to have to accept it, that Brock's just going to throw him around pretty much the whole match, and then out of nowhere, Roman's going to win. That's pretty much what you've seen pretty much all the other matches, except Roman doesn't win, but now you're going to get that. That's how it's going to go, and that's what sucks. When you already know weeks before SummerSlam what's going to happen. That's your main event. Sucks.
Well, we thought Roman was going to beat Brock at WrestleMania, and he didn't. What makes you think this time Brock will definitely win?
Fine.
We were surprised at Mania, right?
Brock has to lose, right? Because Brock's leaving.
Well, Brock has to drop the title, I think. But even then, does he?
I would love it to see Brock as Universal Champion fight Daniel Cormier at UFC, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either, but that doesn't mean Brock has to drop the title at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar cannot fight until, at the earliest, January 2018. The earliest. He could drop the title at Survivor Series in November.
No, I think if he drops it now. If he's not dropping it at SummerSlam, he's dropping it at Mania. And you know he's not going that far, right? So
probably not with the title.
This is the time to drop it. And man, come on. Like, how many times does Roman Reigns get a title shot and like not win? Like, this is getting ridiculous.
But that's part of his gimmick. That's, what the WWE does with Roman. They're like, oh, okay, you think we're going to shove Roman down your throat? Well, we don't actually do that. We're going to push Roman a lot, but in the big match, he's going to lose. They're trying to build sympathy. They're trying to make you want him to win the big match. But we're just sick of having him in the big match altogether. We don't want to see him win. We don't want to see him even in the match. With the WWE, they just keep doing that. They're like, oh, just when you think Roman's going to win, he's not going to win. Do you think Roman Reigns walks out of SummerSlam Universal Champion? I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't seem likely because it feels like a cash-in, right? So probably not, but I could see him get the win over Brock just because they've been building this for so long. And regardless that Roman won't be the champion, they still want to give him status. They want him to be the guy that beat The Undertaker, that beat Brock Lesnar.
I think he should be the guy to beat Brock Lesnar if he's going to be in the match with Brock. And even, over Bobby Lashley. Like, if you are going to have Brock lose to somebody in the WWE, it should be Roman at this point because they've pushed him so much. They've given him so much. He's got to be the guy.
I guess that's the thinking in the end, right? That Bobby, yeah, that's a dream match, whatever, but he's not the guy that we want to have given that status, I guess.
He's too old. He's too old. That's a simple fact. Roman Reigns just has more years left in him as a top guy for WWE, and that's what they're investing in right now. They're giving him accolades. They're building the legend of Roman Reigns.
Well, you can say he's old, whatever, but man, he looks a lot better than Roman Reigns.
Look,
Roman Reigns looks like crap compared to Bobby Lashley.
I'm not saying that Bobby Lashley is not better than Roman Reigns in every single way. I'm not saying that. Bobby Lashley's fantastic. Bobby Lashley's way better than Roman right now. Right now. But in 5 years, I don't know. So the WWE's got to think 5 years down the line. Lashley's 40-something, Roman's 30-something. There's a difference. They have a lot invested in Roman Reigns. He's main evented a lot of their big cards. They've pushed him as one of their top draws. They want to do stuff with Roman. And if anybody's going to beat Brock on the way out, because don't forget, Brock may never come back to the WWE. You never know. So if he is leaving after SummerSlam, Roman Reigns has to beat him. He has to. We're too far gone in this whole Roman Reigns thing for them not to do it. It's the right thing to do for the WWE's business. Will wrestling fans react to it positively? Probably not. But it's what the WWE's doing right now. And like Roman Reigns said it on Raw, you may not like it, but you got to learn to accept it. It's the way it is. The big dog, it's his yard.
Well, we've walked into many pay-per-views where I'm like, this is a good card, but the main event sucks. John Cena versus The Miz. I'm like, wow, this is really bad.
Yeah.
This is god awful.
Yeah.
How did it get this bad? And again, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Man, like, this should not be a main event ever again. Yet, here we are.
Look, that's the marquee main event. That's the big Hollywood wrestling main event. For the real wrestling fans, we've got the WWE Championship, the real title with the most prestige in professional wrestling, held by a legitimate champion in AJ Styles, taking on a legitimate contender in Samoa Joe. Two guys that know each other very well. They have a great history. The story is tailor-made, and they're going to main event, not close the show, but be one of the main events on SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. For all those mad about Brock and Roman, you have AJ and Joe. Just like at WrestleMania, when you were mad about Brock and Roman, you had AJ and Nakamura for the WWE title. And that's what we're getting at SummerSlam. So the WWE is not trying to make us happy with every match, but they're trying to give us some matches that we can be satisfied with. And, it's the way of the world in the WWE. If you don't like it, watch New Japan. Because in New Japan, all they're trying to do is satisfy people who like good work, good in-ring work. If you like good wrestling and you want to see the best wrestlers pushed to the top level, watch New Japan. That's not what you get with WWE. I would like the WWE to be different, to be more like New Japan, but they're not, and you just got to accept it. Learn to live with it. Roman Reigns. That's like his catchphrase, You may not like it, but just accept it because it's what you're going to get.
I like Batista's deal with it. That was the best one, I thought.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it.
Deal with it. Roman Reigns.
And you're right. There's enough quality main events on this pay-per-view that aren't the main event that I think should appease most people watching this. I feel it's too much still. I think 7 hours. No wrestling event should ever be 7 hours long. But this is the way they do their big events now, so we're stuck in this for the time being, unfortunately.
And if it ends off the way I think it might end off, I think we'll all be very, very happy. Kevin Owens is going to wrestle Braun Strowman for the Money in the Bank briefcase. The most outside shot possible is Kevin Owens beating Braun Strowman, taking the case from him, cashing in on Roman Reigns after Roman gets knocked around by Brock Lesnar and somehow wins, gets the biggest win of his career. And who comes out? Kevin freaking Owens. Da-na-na-na, he comes out, cashes in the briefcase, new Universal Champion, Kevin Owens. I think he'd be the first two-time Universal Champion ever, right?
Well, yes, because there's only been like 4 or 5 of them so far.
Well, it was Finn, then it was Kevin Owens, then it was Goldberg, then it was Brock.
Yeah.
So Kevin would be the 5th Universal Champion and the only two-time winner of that title. I believe Kevin Owens is walking out of SummerSlam as the new Universal Champion. Every time you think they're going to give the ball to Roman, they don't. And everybody thinks that they're going to give it to Braun Strowman. Everybody thinks that Braun Strowman's going to walk right through Kevin Owens. He's going to cash in on Roman or Brock or whatever, and Braun Strowman's going to walk out of SummerSlam as a Universal Champion. That's too predictable. This is SummerSlam. This is a big show. Let's shock them. And why did Kevin Owens get this stipulation put in? Why did the WWE just slide that in saying, oh, it's for the Money in the Bank briefcase? Why did they do that? Because they're giving him the briefcase. They're giving him the title. Kevin Owens has earned it. He earned it at Money in the Bank when he got tossed off a ladder. He earned it at Extreme Rules when he got tossed off the top of the cage. He earned it at, Hell in a Cell when, he got tossed off the Hell in a Cell.
Kevin didn't get tossed.
He didn't?
Shane jumped off. Remember, Kevin didn't want to jump?
Oh, yeah. Well, he still had a great match with Shane McMahon. I mean, Kevin Owens has earned it, right?
Yes, without question.
It's his time.
But I don't think that's why they threw the stipulation in there. They threw the stipulation in there because they needed something to sell the match. Because you just had a steel cage match, and Kevin just, did a huge jump off the cage or throw off the cage. So how do you come back from that? You throw in something that makes it interesting. It's like a championship match now practically with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean he's going to win, but I am interested. I wouldn't be surprised if he does win, but you've given Braun Strowman all these accolades, and the only thing you didn't give him was the championship.
So
you're still going to do it again. You're still going to screw him over at the very end?
Yes. Look, Raw is ready for a heel champion. Look at the Raw brand. If Kevin Owens is the champion after SummerSlam, he walks out on Raw with, I think, 4 or 5 legit threats to the title. You have Braun Strowman coming after you. He's mad because you took the briefcase from him. You have Roman Reigns coming after you. He's mad because you just took the title from him. You have Finn Balor. He's mad because he hates you and he wants to be Universal Champion again. You have Seth Rollins. He's mad because he's not Intercontinental Champion and he wants a piece of Kevin Owens. And I'm sure there are 2 or 3 others that you could find on Raw, baby faces, top baby faces to go up against Kevin Owens. But I just gave you the 4 top baby faces on Raw. They are the 4 top guys on Raw. Who is the second biggest heel on Monday Night Raw? Dolph Ziggler? I mean, come on. Who's the second biggest heel on Monday Night Raw? You can't really come up with one. That's why you need the one heel champion, Kevin Owens, and all these jabroni baby faces around him trying to take the title. Kevin Owens for champion again.
I have nothing against Kevin being champion. However, we've been down this road. He feuded with Seth Rollins for like 3 pay-per-views in a row.
So?
Like Roman Reigns, 2 pay-per-views in a row.
So?
And I feel Finn Balor, we've seen it a couple of times now.
So?
This isn't anything new. This isn't anything groundbreaking.
What would you prefer? Braun Strowman as champion defending against who? In your world, Braun Strowman is a champion at a SummerSlam, right? What is his first match, his first feud, his first pay-per-view defense? Roman?
Well, it has to be Roman.
And then what? And then what? Like, how do you go past that? What do you do past that? There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do.
I know
Strowman has no opponents.
I know you're not big on Drew McIntyre.
Oh, jeez.
But
That's what you want for the Universal title. That's what you want at the top of the card for Monday Night Raw. Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre. And then what? Are you going to tell me Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin? Is that the next big feud for the WWE Universal Championship? That direction is bad. The direction I'm proposing with Kevin Owens as champion is good.
But it's been done, though. You're just going back from 2 years ago.
So?
I'm not saying that it's terrible, but it has been done. Braun Strowman, we've never seen him as a champion where he's the top guy, where he's running the show pretty much. We haven't seen that before. We've seen the Kevin Owens show. Yes, very, very good.
It's a good show. It's a better show than the Braun Strowman show.
But we haven't seen the Braun Strowman show yet.
We've seen him cut promos.
I thought his promo was pretty good this week.
What did he say?
What did he say again? I can't
He
remember.
congratulated the women on their own pay-per-view, and then he said, especially Alexa Bliss. And then he licked his lips. Yeah, real classy there, Braun Strowman. You're talking about the women's pay-per-view and, good for women and athletics and everything. And it's like, oh, I really like Alexa Bliss. It's like, well, you just took everything away from the previous sentence there, Braun Strowman. So I didn't really like that promo. And then Kevin Owens showed up, and he cut an incredible promo talking about how Braun affected his kids, and he's going to take everything away from Braun Strowman. I didn't think Braun's promo was very good. I didn't think Baron Corbin was very good when he came out, and I especially didn't think Jinder Mahal was any good. Kevin Owens was the only good part of that whole promo.
Oh, no, that was great when Jinder came out and they were meditating, and then he said, get these hands in the meditating, and then he attacked them both. That was fantastic.
Okay.
That was the way you end the promo.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Kevin Owens' promo was great.
It was good, yes. And I'm glad the setup for the match and everything, it made it interesting. I was really worried because I'm like, where do you go from that cage match? How do you top that? And I think with the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line, it definitely gets me interested in this match. One of the most interesting matches on the pay-per-view, more than likely. And really, I feel this could go either way. I wouldn't feel bad if Braun won. And if Kevin wins, it's great too. It's win-win, really, for everybody.
Kevin Owens should win. I don't really want to see Braun Strowman at the top of the card. I want to talk about SmackDown here. Randy Orton, I thought, cut a really good promo this week on SmackDown.
I can't believe you just said that.
I know, right? That's not something you hear from me on Wrestling Uncensored very often.
Ever.
Randy Orton was really good this week.
You never say that. Like, never say that.
He's a good heel.
He is.
His promo was really good. Talk about the fans not respecting him, saying, what, you don't respect me because I don't change the colors on my merch every couple of months to steal money from you?
Some bingo halls, too.
That was a dig at Cena, right? He's like, oh, maybe it's because I'm not an indie darling and I didn't make my name in bingo halls like some of your favorites. I learned from the very best of this business in Evolution. I started at the top. He says maybe the fans don't respect him because he doesn't just show up in the springtime for Mania, or he doesn't fall off cages or ladders, or maybe because he didn't steal a sweet hand gesture.
Whoa, huge shot on the Bullet Club.
Huge shot at Finn Balor, you know? Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows. I mean, Randy in this promo shot on Cena, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor,
New Japan,
Brock Lesnar. I mean, he just went off on everybody without really saying their names. But, you know, Jeff Hardy, he was shooting on everybody in this promo, and it was fantastic. I mean, it wasn't Randy Orton reciting lines written for him. It felt like Randy Orton speaking from the heart, coming up with some things to say. It felt real. It felt authentic, and I like that. I like when guys go out there and are able to really speak freely, and Randy seemed like he was able to do that, and it was very good. More of this from Randy. It felt like when Batista turned heel and just kind of turned on the fans and just started speaking from the heart. It felt a lot like that, and it was solid work.
Well, it felt like it was like he was talking to you, where you complain that Randy doesn't work hard, try hard, and him saying, like, why does he have to try hard? Why does he have to be like everybody else?
Well, I mean, because he'd be more fun to watch.
He's the best already, doesn't he?
He's not, though.
Like you said, like, you're the legend killer. He's the legend. It's like he said.
Yeah, but he's not, though. He's not that good. I've seen him do very lazy things in the ring. I've seen him in Money in the Bank matches during the match, sitting on the sidelines drinking water, waiting for his spot to come back in the match. Randy Orton has a very phony in-ring style that doesn't feel real in the least. So as good as the promo was, he's still not that good of a wrestler. Randy means more now because of one thing that he said. Who is around now that was around when I started? Not too many people. And the fact that John Cena's not around and Randy is makes Randy mean so much more on SmackDown. Randy in the WWE, when Cena's not around, becomes more important somehow.
Well, it seems like he is the longest-standing veteran right now in all of WWE.
And the longest-standing top guy. You know? He's been pushed as a top guy for most of his career. And he's been that guy for so long. You know, you look at, I guess, Goldust, R-Truth, Jeff Hardy. They've been in the business for a really long time, but they haven't been pushed like Randy Orton has been pushed. They haven't main evented WrestleManias.
Randy's the most decorated World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Champion currently in WWE.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest stars that they have. They have created that. They have created the stardom of Randy. Just like they have created the stardom of The Miz. You know, not necessarily great, but, you know, he's there. Him and Maurice come out to the ring, and they cut a promo. And before they go to the ring, they clearly have their baby there with them backstage. And it seems like The Miz is going to bring the baby with him in the ring. So Miz and Maurice, they cut a promo. They start talking about their reality show and da-da-da. And Miz is pretending to have the baby. But it's obviously a doll. It's obviously not the real baby in the ring. Because when I saw that they were going to bring their newborn baby into an arena full of people, I was shocked. I was like, well, you don't know how this baby's going to react. The baby might start crying in front of all these people. This might not be a very good idea for the baby. And obviously, Miz and Maurice have more sense than that. They didn't actually bring the baby out into the ring in front of the crowd. Right? That was obvious to me. I was like, there's no way they're actually bringing the baby. And then as soon as Miz stepped out and stepped into the ring, it was obvious that wasn't really the baby. Okay? So to me, watching the promo, it's very obvious. To you too, right, John? It was obvious it wasn't the baby.
Well, I think you thought of it right away because you're a father. And you're like...
Also, the baby wasn't moving.
Well, that too.
It was a doll. It was obviously a doll. The thing didn't move. Babies move their legs and arms and head. This baby was immobile.
Or possibly dead. And Miz didn't know about it, but...
Oh my God, John, what the hell?
They should have had like one of those vibrating babies. The toys that vibrate. Should have had that.
I guess. Anyway, so it's very obvious that it's not a baby. Daniel Bryan shows up. Bryan gets stopped by Miz security. He beats up Miz security. He gets into the ring. He puts his fist up like he's about to punch Miz in the face. Miz has this supposed baby strapped to him. Daniel Bryan is standing there in the ring, about to get the Miz. Miz takes the doll out, throws it at Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan catches the doll like it is a baby, like he thinks it's a baby, and goes, huh? This isn't a baby? Gets kicked in the face and gets hit with the skull-crushing finale. So Daniel Bryan, what we are to understand is that Daniel Bryan is so evil, is such a horrible person, that he was going to attack a man who was holding a baby, who had a baby strapped to him. This is your top babyface. So he's thinking this whole time, Miz has his baby there. I don't care. I'm going to attack him anyways. That was Daniel Bryan's plan, obviously, because when Bryan got in the ring and Miz threw the doll at him, Bryan was like, what? I thought this was a baby, and then got kicked in the face. So not only is Daniel Bryan stupid because he couldn't tell that it was a doll, he's also a total jerk and an evil person. This is your top babyface, WWE. Daniel Bryan. Way to go, Smackdown writing team. Way to go, WWE. You just painted Daniel Bryan to close out Smackdown as a guy who's willing to put the life of a baby at risk and is so stupid that he doesn't know what's a doll and what's a baby. So he's stupid and evil. This is your top babyface. Good job, WWE. I'm shocked Daniel Bryan didn't say, hey, this doesn't actually make sense. Would I really be doing this in real life? Would Bryan Danielson do this? I don't think so. I don't care how much I hate you. I don't care, you know? If you're holding a baby, I'm going to wait till you put the baby down. Daniel Bryan should have picked up the mic and said, Miz, give the baby to Maurice. You know, Maurice, baby, leave the ring. And then, Miz could throw the baby at him, and then Bryan could be like, what? And then get kicked, you know?
Right.
Bryan coming in thinking, yep, Miz has the baby, and I don't care, I'm going to punch him anyways, is crazy. Because if Bryan actually thought that, and it actually was the baby, and he punched the Miz, and Miz fell down, what then? Baby dies? Like, what the hell? What is he, Gene Snitsky? Ridiculous. I was watching that, I was shocked. When SmackDown ended, I was like, what the F? I couldn't believe it. Like, what are they thinking?
Well, I just thought it was really just a bad segment from the start.
It's a bad segment, but, like, think about Daniel Bryan's motivation here. Daniel Bryan's so dumb, he doesn't know it's a doll. And then he's so evil that he doesn't care that Miz has his baby. He's going to beat him up anyways. That's your top babyface on SmackDown. what the hell? How about Daniel Bryan comes in and says, Miz, I know that's not your baby. I know it's a doll. I'm going to knee you in the face right now. And then Bryan throws a doll at Bryan just to distract him, or Miz throws a doll at him, distracts Bryan, and then hits him with his thing. Or how about Maurice slaps Bryan when he says that? You know, that's not a real baby. Maurice, slap. Bryan gets distracted, Miz attacks. How about you do it where Daniel Bryan isn't stupid and isn't evil? How about you do that? Because the scenario that they did on SmackDown this week made Bryan look terrible. Maybe that's their goal. Maybe that's what they want to do.
No, I think they just didn't think it through. I think they just thought, or The Miz thought, or whoever's writing for The Miz thought this would be a great way for The Miz to get the over this week. And they didn't think on Daniel Bryan's side how it would look. They just thought about what's a cheap way for The Miz to get over. And they buried their top face in the process. So that happens because I don't know if they really care about Daniel Bryan that much. I mean, let's look in the past here. This is Daniel Bryan, who they painted as someone who's cheating on his wife.
Yeah, that's true. Stephanie said that. Bree said it wasn't true, right? Wasn't it?
Well, they've completely erased that from history.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But they've done terrible things with Daniel Bryan before. And I feel with guys like Daniel Bryan, they don't mind doing the stuff like that. They'll just air whatever because they think it's entertaining or funny. But in the end, it hurts Daniel Bryan more than helps him.
Yeah, the motivation of their characters really doesn't make sense. They need to think this through a little bit more. It feels like they're just slapping TV shows together with it's haphazard, you know? They're not really thinking it through, and that's the problem when you're trying to put on a show that people are watching every week. Very bad. Very bad.
Well, it's called protecting your characters. John Cena would never be put in a position like that. The fact that John Cena was actually like engaged to Nikki Bella, that was a huge vulnerability for John Cena. You never saw something like that. That was amazing they did that. For Daniel Bryan, I feel Daniel Bryan can be like the weakest character in all of WWE. Doesn't matter that he's top face.
Yeah, they could do whatever they want to Daniel Bryan, but the fans will still rally around him more than anybody else, no matter what they do to him. No matter what they do, the fans will always support Daniel Bryan because that's how good he is.
Well, because the fans respect Daniel Bryan. I don't know if the WWE writing team respects Daniel Bryan.
I don't know if the WWE writing team knows what they're doing. We know what we're doing. We're overtime. We got to wrap this thing up. John, next match, when can people see you in the ring?
Well, I don't know for that, but I know next week we're going to be live on TSN. We're not live right now, but next week we will be live.
We will be live in studio for next week's show here on TSN 690. It'll be Wrestling Uncensored, episode 400, the 400th episode of Wrestling Uncensored. We're going to have a little party. We're going to have special guests. You do not want to miss the show next week. It is going to be huge. We have our boy out in Ireland, one of our most dedicated listeners, Wally, is flying in from Ireland for Wrestling Uncensored episode 400. He's going to be in studio with us. A number of you are going to be in studio with us as well. If you want to be in studio for Wrestling Uncensored episode 400, contact Johnny North and he will hook you up with the details. Next week we'll be live at the TSN 690 studios for a big celebration, our 400th episode. Reach out to Johnny North at North Genesis on Twitter or at Genesis Johnny North on Instagram to get your invite to the Wrestling Uncensored episode 400 party. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dave Simon MMA. WrestlingUncensored.net is our website, and our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. Thank you to Jimmy and Marco for helping us out back at TSN 690. And a big thanks to you for listening. For Johnny North, I am Dave Simon, and this has been Wrestling Uncensored. Yeah.
Yeah.